Let's close our eyes and begin the hawk meditation. Allow your fingertips to touch each other. Let the tip of your tongue rest on the roof of your mouth. Let your eyelids rest shut. Seat yourself comfortably, or lie down if you prefer. Become aware of the light behind your eyes with your eyelids closed. And become aware of the sensation in your solar plexus and in your heart. Allow yourself to become the hawk. Feel your wings unfolding. And become aware that there is an opening happening as you open your wings. You receive life. And welling up from inside you is a warm current. It's partly air, it's partly liquid. It's partly earth and it's partly fire. Because the fire of the sun warms the earth and the warm air flows upwards to meet you. And there's a cooperation in all of these elements. And as you spread your wings, the warm air meets you right in the center of your chest and in your solar plexus. And it's beginning to lift you upwards. Around you is deep stillness and peace as you begin to glide upwards, lifted up on an invisible current. And there's a rush, an exhilaration and an acceleration as the current lifts you upwards. The ground is beginning to get smaller and smaller. You're beginning to circle, but you stay attached to the current. Notice that if you drift out of the current, you begin to drop down, but you can move your wings slightly so that you move back into the current and begin to lift upwards. Become aware of a deep sense of peace around your body. Become aware of the peacefulness of the breeze and the air and the effortlessness of your gliding. Your wings just moving slightly to stay in the current. You're coming higher and higher. The earth is so far away now that trees and houses are just small dots. The current continues to lift you effortlessly upwards, spinning in slow circles. Lift your head up towards the sky. Now being propelled like a rocket by the current of warm air from the earth out of the atmosphere and out into space where you can see the Earth like a big blue ball. And the current continues to lift you upwards and outwards. And your wings spread wider and wider. You embrace more and more of the current. You begin to move outward further and further. And now galaxies and solar systems rush past. The beauty of it all is overwhelming, and a sense of awe and deep peace remains. You're rushing back out through the stars, and it seems endless, an endless sea of stars and galaxies rushing by. A horizon of galaxies. Rippling like waves on the ocean. And you slow down now and look out across this rippling ocean of stars and galaxies stretching out as far as you can see or imagine. And you're beginning to ripple as well. The entire universe is rippling and pulsating. And the sense of peace is replaced with an awareness of the turbulent nature of the universe. But you can observe it without judgment. There is simply an acknowledging that this is the way it is. Feel your wings spreading out to envelop this vast, turbulent universe. And begin to drink it in. Watch it begin to get smaller and smaller as your wings encircle it and gently pull it in towards you. And the entire universe is pouring inside you. and eventually your wings come back up to your face. And you find you yourself folding down inside you with the entire universe. Your wings wrap around you and compress you smaller and smaller, until you and the entire universe are reduced to a tiny black spot in which you and the universe are completely one. Allow yourself to meld with the universe inside that tiny dark space. In an acceptance and an acknowledgement that this is just the way it is. Let your awareness go into the center of that tiny dark space. And right in the center of it you find a pinprick of light. You begin to look closer and closer at it. Allow it to become bigger as you get closer, so that soon you are looking out through this tiny little hole. And you realize you are on the earth. A tiny blade of grass looking up at the belly of a hawk. And all around you, you hear the quiet sound of warm air beginning to rush upwards. And now you are part of the warm current lifting the hawk upwards. There's warm air all around you, and you feel yourself pressing against the body of the hawk, lifting it. Propelling it upwards. Higher and higher, and eventually out into the atmosphere and out into space. You begin to push further and faster, and the hawk is propelled out past solar systems and galaxies and stars. And eventually you go as far as you can go. And you are now the entire universe. All the stars, all the galaxies, all the planets. A virtually infinite number of life forms being embraced by the hawk, which represents consciousness, holding you together, wrapping its wings around you, and then drawing you into itself. You feel yourself drawing closer and closer to the hawk's beak, into its mouth, and down its throat, and into its belly, where all of the life in the universe is condensed and held into one small space. In this dark space all around you are billions of tiny points of light, stars, galaxies. And among all these points, one shines brighter than the rest, and you begin to move closer to it. And as you approach it, it gets bigger and begins to encompass your entire vision. And you realize that you are looking out into pure white light. And the white light pulls you through that tiny hole and into itself. And you meld with the white light and you become the white light. And inside that pure white light, a tiny black dot emerges. And it begins to grow. It multiplies itself and it multiplies itself. And soon the black dots have covered up so much of the white light that what you see is blackness with billions of tiny white lights. And these white lights begin to spin all around you. You realize the blackness has formed a thick clump. At the center of the sphere. You begin to move out and you realize that this sphere is one of many. And you step back a little further and you realize that the spheres stretch out as far as you can see, all joined together, white light and black clumps. And you step back a bit further and you realize that these spheres make clumps of their own. And you step back a bit further and you realize that these clumps form objects. They're rocks and dirt and lumps of earth. And these become plants and flowers. And these are fed on by animals. And some of these animals are fed on by the hawk. And so the matter from which the hawk is made and the consciousness which it is are one. And so the current that lifts you up is you. And the circle is complete. Feel yourself being lifted by the warm current. Observe it, acknowledge it, and be grateful for it. Allowing your gratitude to rest with yourself for who you are and what you are. When you're ready, feel your fingertips and the tips of your wings, and allow your consciousness to begin to return to your body. Feel the hawk's feet landing on the ground and becoming your feet. And in your own time, return to your normal consciousness with a deeper understanding about the brilliance of who you really are. For you are the consciousness and the matter, the beginning and the ending, the hawk that flies and the current that lifts it. And so it is.